And this week, I spoke with White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer about a range of topics. First up, the recent WikiLeaks document dump on the CIA and what it means for our national security. Here's part of that interview. Okay, I want to talk about Julian Assange, okay? Julian Assange is now talking about how, he can get all of this information from the CIA and all of this leaks. And I'm just curious, has the president met with the CIA Director Pompeo to discuss the enormous leaking that's going on? And do they have a strategy? And my second part of that question is, given the fact that there is a very small pool of individuals from the FBI and the CIA who had access to the information that was leaked, and I think I heard one congressman, one of the 8, say that it's limited to about 30 people. Are we going to get to the bottom of who is leaking this extremely important information out?
Well, the president speaks to his CIA director daily to get an update on our national security situation and the threats that we face and what we're doing to keep the country safe. That being said, we don't comment on the allegations of leaks. It is something that that holistically the president has been very, very concerned with the leaks that have come out throughout the administration, throughout government, that have been pervasive in our government for a very long time, stretching back several administrations. But he feels very strongly that this undermines our national security and the safety of our country, and he has been taking steps and working with the various agencies to make sure that we get to the bottom and that we clog all of these potential leaks and punish those who potentially are leaking our national security.
With what President Obama did on December 29th on his leaving and opening up all of this intelligence classified information to 16 other agencies, can we anticipate that President Trump will try to tighten up that information to a very small group of individuals again and make it not as pervasive through the government?
Well, the president has made it very clear to all of the agencies that deal in this area that they need to take the appropriate steps and actions to safeguard our national security efforts. He understands that these sort of efforts that have been going on, not just recently, but have gone on for years and, in fact, decades, threaten our ability to protect ourselves, and that they only embolden the enemy who seeks to do our people and our country harm, and that we need to be aggressively pursuing those who leak or share other classified or other detrimental information beyond the people that they're authorized to do so. This is a national security problem, and this president takes it very, very seriously.
All right, last question. With Jim Comey calling on the Department of Justice to back up his statement that there was no wiretapping, do you find it, or does the president find it unusual that a man who was not shy of a camera during the last campaign would hesitate to get in front of a camera and say what he wants the Department of Justice to say?
Well, all I'm going to say on this is that I've continued just to receive, or read rather, reports about what Director Comey has said privately. No one has, that I'm aware of, in this administration has heard from him specifically. We continue to see these unnamed, anonymous sources listed in newspapers that suppose what he said or did not say. Right. I'm going to leave it to Director Comey to speak for himself, but fundamentally, that's why the president has asked the House and Senate Intelligence Committee to go through their process using their resources to begin to get through a lot of the look of what we've seen now with respect to leaks and other things. It's important to note, though, that the people who have been briefed with respect to Russia and allegations of coordination of various entities, that every single person that's been briefed, from Senator Rubio to Senator Burr, Chairman Devin Nunes of the House Intelligence Committee, have said that they've seen nothing linking anything to this. And I think that that's sort of an interesting story that does not get the attention that it deserves. The people who have seen the intelligence have said unequivocally that there's nothing there, and yet that story seems to get pushed by the wayside.
And that's not all. Coming up, I'll ask Spicer about where things stand with the GOP's health care plan. But next, we're back to talking leaks and back to talking Russia and back to talking President Trump. And my guest is one of our favorite liberals. Time for part 2 of my primetime exclusive interview with White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer. The topic, GOP's health care plan. Take a look. Hi, Sean. Thanks for being with us.
You bet, Judge. Thanks for having me.
All right. Now, the president says things are coming along very well with the health care replacement plan, but we're seeing a lot of resistance from the right and from the left. So how confident is the president that this bill is going to pass? And would you say that it's going to pass in the first 100 days? And if it doesn't in the first 100 days, would this be a failure for the president?
Well, I think it's going to pass. The president's very committed to seeing this through. He's been meeting with members from both houses and both parties, senators, congressmen, Republicans, Democrats. He understands that the current health care law is broken. We've got patients that are paying more and more every year with skyrocketing premiums. They're having fewer and fewer choices. In 1/3 of all the counties in our nation, there's only one choice for a health care provider, which is essentially making it no choice. They're not getting what they were promised 8 years ago. It is not affordable. It is not accessible. In many cases, people have a card, but they don't have care. Right. And I think the president recognized the importance of health care in our society, and he's working to get this passed through. That being said, we've hosted committee chairmen here at the White House for 3 reasons. One is to thank them. 2 is to point out that in both committees, as this has gone through in the House, there's been unanimous support from Republicans. But most importantly, this is a 3-pronged approach, Judge. It was passed that way, and we've got to do it the same way, meaning we can do certain things through an arcane process called reconciliation, right, which basically means there are certain things you can do legislatively and certain things you can't. We've started the bill in that process, and then there are other things that can be done administratively, and then other things that have to be done in the 3rd prong, which is additional legislative stuff, meaning that we can buy health care across state lines, expand the pool of health savings accounts, allowing small businesses to pool their resources together. Right. But we have to look at this effort as a comprehensive effort, not just the current bill that's going through.
Would it be considered a win if you just repealed the thing and started all over?
Well, that's what we're doing, though. This is the most comprehensive repeal effort that we've seen. You've got to do it in a way that doesn't jeopardize people's health care.
You're repairing it at the same time that you're repealing it.
Well, we're repealing it, but we're also making sure that we start to put in place the phase 1 aspects of this and ensure that American people get the health care coverage that they need. Now, remember, Jeanine, this is really important. For most Americans, they get their coverage through their employer. Right. The only thing that's going to happen through this entire plan is probably their premiums are going to go down over time as we instill more competition and choice.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Right, it would, because the problem with Obamacare fundamentally is that it sought to fix the problem with people not having health care that were outside employer-based health care, Medicaid, TRICARE, and Medicaid. What happened was it affected the entire system. 1/5 of our economy was affected because the way that the Obama administration approached this wasn't to target the people who didn't have health care, but was basically to ruin the entire system for everybody, and nobody benefited out of that. Now, what we need to do is make sure we were focusing on those people who don't have care or who can't afford to have the care because of the way the system was implemented.
There are some who are saying that the president has actually threatened to work against those Republicans who are not in support of the bill. Is there any substance to that?
Well, look, this president, they are a very successful businessman. He knows how to get deals. He knows how to negotiate. He's sitting down with these members. And to be honest, a lot of times people don't fully appreciate the comprehensive nature of the approach that he and the House are taking in this. So we've had some very, very optimistic meetings with members of Congress, senators, and outside interest groups that have become very, very supportive once they hear the comprehensive nature of what the president's seeking to achieve and how he's seeking to do it.
So is the president threatening anybody that he won't support them or that it'll work? Come on,
That's
Sean.
not his style. That is not his style.
Time will tell. My thanks to White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer. We'll be right back.